Okay, so we're actually starting lying down on our back this morning. So bring yourself. Oh, you will need your block handy. So have your block handy for this one. And when you're ready, just lay yourself down on your back. And whichever position you want your legs to be in, whichever position you want your hands. Taking these few moments to synchronize with your mat, to synchronize with your breath. You may have headphones on with your own music in the background, or you may have music in your room, or no sound, or lots of family sound. And whichever that is, even if it's total silence in the background, just tune into something that you can hear. And for me, I can hear the rain, heavy rain on the skylight just above my head. So yours could be your pets, your family, could be your music, could be silence. But noticing all of those little sounds or big sounds. And then drawing your body back into your breath. And as we breathe, we'll take one hand to the ribs, one hand to the belly. Whilst we are not able to breathe as such into the belly, you can feel the rise and fall of that hand. As we move the fascia around the ribs, remember that all our body is connected. And then try your best to actually get that breath to inflate into your lower hand, so into your belly. Really, really stretch that breath into the lungs, inflating the lungs, pushing the diaphragm down and creating that pressure through the abdominals to push the belly up. And as you exhale, just feeling the ribs, feeling the belly move all the way down. One more round of breath like this. And just slowly take both arms up to the ceiling and make some fists. Excuse me, and begin to circle through your wrists. Almost like you're trying to draw circles on the ceiling with the knuckles. And go the other way. Try and isolate this movement into actually the wrists so the shoulders don't move. It's actually coming from the sort of bones of the forearm and the wrist muscles. And then do the same with the fingers open. Change the direction. So broaden those shoulders on the mat. And then change direction of the hands again. So nice open hands here. On your next inhale, let your arms reach over your head and stretch them away from you and actually walk one shoulder up and walk the other shoulder up. So you're trying to reach something away on that far wall behind you. Feel the shoulders elevate up to the ears, nice and long through the neck, but root your heels and your pelvis. And if you can, the back of your ribs down onto the mat as well. And feel the front line of the body opening. Bringing your hands down and just hugging one knee into your chest. Now, you may need, if you're feeling a little bit stiff this morning, you may need to actually elevate your head up to grab that knee. And that's fine. Or you may be able to keep that head down. And then exchanging the legs. So just interlinking the fingers over the knee, over the shin. Stretching that leg away as the other one comes in towards you. Changing the leg once again. This time, hug that knee a little bit tighter in, but make the long leg active now. So flex the foot, push the heel away, and then draw this knee in closer to your chest. So you're trying your best to keep that other leg on the mat. Then begin to circle the foot of the knee that you're holding. So work into the ankle. Really thinking about that ankle joint moving as it goes round and round both ways. Maybe you can even feel the top of the shin muscles working and waking up. Holding that foot still and pointing and flexing, and push that other heel away from you harder. So it's like you're trying to pull that thigh bone out of the socket as you flex and point this foot. Exchanging the legs, so hugging that other knee in. But first of all, concentrate on that long leg. So push that long leg away from you. Push the heel away. Really activate and pull that leg down to the mat as we draw that other knee into the chest. And then circling around with the ankle, waking up all of the joints in there, and then the other side. We're going both ways and feeling muscles in the front of the shin, keeping that long leg nice and active, drawing that knee a bit tighter into the chest, and then point and flex this foot. Really working on waking up the muscles on the soles of the feet. And then give yourself a full body stretch. So take both arms long and stretch those fingers away from you. Fingers and toes, opening up that front line of the body. Really point those toes now. Try and make those legs as long as you can. And then relax. Just take a moment with your palms up to the sky, down by your sides. And taking a couple of breaths here. We just draw in through the nose and out through the nose with that breath. Remaining on our back for now and bending both bending both knees so your feet are flat on the floor. Taking your right ankle across to your left thigh and turning your right knee out. Flexing the right foot, so we're basically in the start of reclined pigeon. Taking your right hand and just pushing into that right knee, but trying to keep the hips as even as you can. And then start to push and pull. So you're pushing the knee away and you're going to pull the knee in towards you. Push the knee away, pull the knee in towards you. Aiming to keep that foot flexed and the pelvis still. Push the knee away from you. Maybe that's what you're looking for this morning. Otherwise, we come and we hold the back of that thigh. And again, just like we did when we held the knee, you might find that you need to actually lift your head up to reach behind the knee. It could be enough to have the foot flat on the floor. Now, wherever you are with this, if you have your foot on the floor, just try and lift up through the heels slightly so there's not so much pressure on the floor. And wherever you are with these legs, just see if you can actually let go of the back of the knee and hold in place. Really activate those muscles now. Taking back hold of the back of the leg or placing the heel down and seeing if you can now straighten this other leg. So if your foot is on the floor, you will need to lift that one up. And if it's too strong, take the pigeon leg away. Just stretch out through one leg. Nice and slowly take that whole configuration down to the floor and bring your feet nice and wide. Just let your knees wiper over one way and the other way. So we can do the other side. Taking the left ankle to the right thigh. That foot is flexed. Shuffling that foot in, that right foot in as much as you need it. And then beginning to push into that left knee with the left hand. Just pushing it away as you exhale. Inhale to let it draw towards you. Aiming to keep that pelvis nice and still. Then we push and pull. Push and pull that knee towards you. But aim to keep that pelvis rooted down to the mat and the foot flexed. And from there, we reach through the gap and draw that leg up towards you, keeping the foot flexed. Remember, you might need to lift your head and shoulders, or you may just want to keep that foot on the floor. Just drawing that whole shape towards you. And slowly, if your foot's on the floor, start to lift the heel and make the legs light. And if you're holding, just unlink the hands and try and pull using your muscles to keep that shape. Just for a breath or two. Taking the hands back behind the leg and then straightening that along the supporting leg up to the sky. Maybe you draw that shape in towards you, and if it's too strong, if your foot's on the floor, just take the pigeon leg out of the equation. Slowly releasing and bringing that whole shape down and drawing legs over one side and over the other side. Staying on our back just a wee bit longer, but this time you're going to need your block as we work on just a little bit of strength to wake up the abdominals. Sure, they've been sleepy the last couple of days. So bringing your block or your pillow, whatever you've got, between your thighs so that it's actually sticking out. So you want to be able to grab your block with your hands or your elbows. Now taking the hands behind the back, behind the head, squeezing your elbows around up to the sky, and then curling those elbows towards the block. Now you're not going to get anywhere near it, but just use it as a guide, and then come down. So 4 repetitions like this. Breath out, curl up, aim not to pull on the back of the head, but just working on those upper abdominals, just waking them up nice and slowly. And last one. And we draw both legs to a tabletop position. We squeeze the heels in together, and if this is too strong, you just keep the feet on the floor. And then squeeze the block as you bring the knees in towards you. Take them away just to tabletop. So exhale, squeeze the block, draw the knees in towards you, and really pull those low tummy muscles down to the mat. Breath out, squeeze in. Pull those knees towards you. And last one. Now you can continue with either of those versions, or putting the feet flat on the floor and just squeezing the block. Otherwise, we'll exhale, we'll curl up, we'll bring the knees towards the chest, the elbows towards the knees, and you're going to try and reach that block and transfer it to the elbows, placing the head and shoulders back down, curling up, bringing the knees in towards you, squeezing that block with the knees, and taking the block now between the thighs again. 4 full repetitions like that. So that's 1. And Nice breath out. Just waking up all of those inner thighs, the pelvic floor, core muscles, breath to movement. And last full one. Elbows wide and letting those feet come down to the floor. Taking the block away and rolling yourself up to one side. And depending on your space will depend on how you sit. I'm going to sit sideways on my mat for this. Wrong. I'm going to sit facing the front. So we want to be able to lie backwards, but sweep to the side as well. So I'm sitting in a mermaid position, like a seated pigeon, with my right leg in front. So if this doesn't work for you, don't worry too much. See where we're going first. So we're going to turn our torso, so our sternum's facing towards that right knee. We're going to roll forwards towards that right knee. You might want to watch this one first. And then slowly start to walk yourself backwards onto your right elbow, reaching the left arm overhead. Now, if we have more flexibility, we're going to do this a few times, okay? So if you have more flexibility, you might be able to take that arm down and then reach up and around with that left side. Use the hand, push yourself up, and then twist towards the left leg. Okay, so come with me. Yeah, if you want to take that left leg long, you can. So we start turning that torso towards the right knee. We come forwards with that sternum down and sort of undulate up, then come down again, just feeling that stretch into the glute. Then start to walk your hands behind that right knee. Maybe you can come to your elbow. Maybe you lie more on your side. So pushing that left knee down. Then reaching that right arm over if it's accessible to you, or stay on the elbow. And sweep that left arm around to the side. Really open that front line of the body. Left arm comes back over your head. Turn onto that right shoulder. Use your hands and push yourself up. And then sweep low to your sternum and low to the floor and move to the other side. So I really don't care how that looks, as long as you feel like you are moving all around that spine, you're opening into the hips, you're being safe with your knees. Yep, so you might just roll more over onto the right side and reach the left arm up. Circle the left arm. You might walk up. So you just work out what's going to work for you. Yeah, make it as deep as you want to. So obviously the lower you go, the more you keep the pelvis still, the more open you're going to find those hips. You may even take it a little bit more into a banana sort of stretch. Yep. And rolling, twisting, using those hands, pushing yourself up. Come low and move around. So you know your body, you know what's going to work. You know how you feel. You know tightnesses, restrictions, things that feel good, things that don't. So work on all of it, but just look for those mild sort of sensations. Yeah, the mild sensations as we move and flow this body this morning. Okay, one more. So if you're on your way back up to the top, making that the last one. If you're on your way down, continue that full flow. And when you reach the top, swing that back leg around and find some variation of pigeon. Now you may want to use your brick underneath your hip. You may even want to sit up tall. So again, just do what's going to feel nice for you. Yeah, you may even choose to take that reclined pigeon again, or prop something underneath that back thigh. Yeah, you may choose to stay high into that pigeon, or come low, even move to one side. So find what's going to work for you this morning, remembering that you need to be kind to your knees and kind to your hips. And then finding that edge with your pigeon and taking your breath. One more full round of breath before we come all the way up, nice and slowly. And then moving our way out, swinging that back leg around, moving any of the props that we have, so we can do the same little flow on the other side. So we have our left leg in front in this sort of seated mermaid, this 90-90 position. So take your time. If the right leg needs to come long or you need to sit on props, that's fine. But remember, if you sit on props, laying back is probably not going to be an option for you. Okay, so just use your hands to support you. So we twist our sternum, moving forward towards that left side. We walk the hands around by that left knee. We maybe take the elbow, might want to bring that right arm up. Okay, so remember, you might want to start small as you warm up and walking back around, sweeping sort of relatively low, coming up into that nice side bend or a twist or whatever your body needs to feel like it's going to move all of those working parts. Yeah, lubricating all of the joints, getting that spine to move, open up through the hips, through that front line of the body. Such a good way to stretch if you've been sitting a lot. And just because if you have been sitting a lot, it doesn't mean that you've been lazy. Maybe your body just needs to recoup. Coming around, maybe you've been entertaining, sitting with family. Whichever it is, just reaching, really opening that midline of the body. Just using those hands to flow you around. Some parts might feel stickier than others. Just take your time. Remember that two sides are very different. And reaching and stretching. And if you're on your way down into that movement, continue that full rep. If you're on your way up, just finishing at the top. No rush. Just completing that full move. And then when you find yourself at that top position, you're going to move into your pigeon. So again, that can be supporting something underneath the back hip, the front hip. You could stay high, you could stay low, remembering that you need to do what's right for your hips and your knees. So just working on the position where you get that sensation. Remember, there's never any pain. It's that sensation. And we're looking to just move and mobilize the body. The most wonderful thing about pigeon stretches is whether you're active or inactive, the muscles inside the hips just get so either overworked or just lazy and tight. And pigeon is just such a great stretch to alleviate any type of back discomfort. Make this your last full round of breath in this pose. And on your next inhale, just walking yourself back up. And maneuvering yourself round to a straddle just momentarily. So don't worry about using props or anything like that. If it's too strong, just sit in a butterfly. And we just reach up one side, big stretch over, and big stretch over the other side. So just one of these each way before we come up to a stand. Maneuvering your body around, and I'm just going to whiz my socks off. I'm going to come to the front edge of our mat now. So walk, or however crawl, however you feel like you want to get there. And if you're not using a mat, just make sure there's some space behind you. And reach those arms up now. So palms are going to face in towards each other. Just reaching those hands up and stretching up, pushing your chest forwards, but tucking your tailbone. Really try and get that nice straight line through your body as your ears come close to your biceps, drawing the ribs in. Then sweep the arms wide and folding. Think of that lovely swan dive, folding forwards, and then letting the hands come down and follow as the tailbone points towards the sky and the chest comes to the thighs, bending the knees as much as you need to. Remember to keep the weight back in the heels here. Inhale into a flat back position. So just start to lift that chest up and forwards and changing the position of the hands. That could be on the shins or on the thighs, and drawing your heart up and forwards. Taking the hands down to the mat and step back. We're going to go left leg. We're going to go the same leg first. So step back with that left leg. Dropping your left knee down to the mat. Toes tucked or tops of the feet. Right hand onto the right knee. And just have a look and see if you can shuffle that right heel so it's underneath the right knee. Or even further forwards a little bit. Placing the left hand down on the mat. Pushing the heel of the right hand down, use your block if you need it, and rotating your chest up to the sky. You're trying to take that right shoulder up, but you're using the hand to push on that right thigh. Keep pushing the left hip forwards. Then come back to the center. Take the right elbow inside that right knee and push it out. So aim not to change any configuration through the rest of the body. Just going to push that knee out. Keep pushing your hips through the gap. Use a block for that left hand if you want it. And aiming now not to twist. Now listen to the transition here. So right hand is going to come down to the floor. Just going to walk our hands around towards the left side. So we can pivot on the left knee. Just try not to twist the kneecap. So actually lift the knee. Turn the left shin. So think of warrior two. Yeah, a kneeling warrior two position. So now I'm facing the left edge of my mat. Got my right knee facing the front, just like you would be in warrior. And then we're going to move forwards and backwards. So really try and work on this right knee coming out and your left hips towards the left edge of your mat, and just moving into that front thigh, and really opening into that back inner hip. So your left shin is going the short angle of your mat. Yep. And just working with that right hand on the thigh. Then taking those arms into your little warrior two. But keep long through that position. So really try and pull that right knee back here. Now again, listen to the transition. So you're going to take your left hand down to the mat or down to the block. So reach as far as you can, but push that front knee away from you and reach up with that right arm up and over. But try your best to keep your hips pushing through the gap. So remember, use a block for the hand if you need it. And push that front knee away. To really open up through that side, try and get that tailbone tucked. Then all the way back up. Just rotate that back leg. And stepping that front leg around, nice and slowly coming out, finding a box, and then cat and cow that spine. Moving that spine up and down into that cat-cow position. You can always use blocks for the wrists if you need it. Then from here, push yourself up to your down dog. So just your hands, pushing yourself up to that down dog position. Heels treading down towards the mat and just swaying the hips a little bit from side to side here. Just treading, walking that dog. And slowly walk those feet in, back to the front of your mat. Weight into the heels, all the way up. Bring those palms together over your head, tucking that tailbone, pushing the fingers up to the sky. Sweeping the arms wide, swan dive down, flat back. Chest to thighs, bending the knees, letting the arms go, tailbone points to the sky, into your forward fold. Let the head hang. Try and get that tailbone pointing towards the sky. Inhale to a flat back position. You're looking for that chest to be pointing up, the shoulders pulling away down to the ears. Let the hands come down to the mat. Step back with your right foot this time. Right foot, nice big step. Use your props if you need them. Bringing your right knee down. Toes tucked or tops of foot. Take the right hand to the mat, left hand on that thigh. Push down and twist, but don't twist. Yeah, so right hand to the floor. Push down with that left hand, heel of hand on the left thigh. Draw those hips forwards. And feel that little bit of opening into that back hip. But you're restricting it by not lifting the hands away. You're actually pushing. Then from there, left hand comes off. We take the left elbow inside that left knee, and we use the elbow to push that knee out. Now try not to twist with this one. Keep frontal to the mat. So keep your hips pushing down. So we try our best to keep them to the center. We avoid that twist. Just get that hip to really open as we squeeze through the gap. Come back to center. This is where we walk our hands around We keep the left toes facing the front of the mat. We keep the left knee facing the front of the mat. We start to turn the right shin, so it's sort of in line with that foot. And then we come up. Now I did forget to say to shuffle that left foot a bit further forwards. So it's a little bit further forwards of the knee or in line. Turning your hips to the long edge of your mat, really pulling that left knee out as we move in and out. So it's almost like you're trying to glide that front knee towards the front of your mat. Keep that tailbone tucked under and feel that nice opening onto the back inner thigh. So remember that back shin is at a different angle to the front one. So it is turned at 90 degrees. Just moving in and out of this hip. Trying to pull that front knee out. Remember that front knee is sort of tracking towards that second toe, so the leg doesn't roll in. And keeping that tailbone tucked. Then warrior two arms. This is your kneeling warrior two. Finding that stretch through the hips. Now lower body's going to stay nice and still as we reach that right hand towards the floor or towards a block. Fingertips, palm, however, but keep that front foot pushing down hard as we reach up and over. Stretching out through the side, opening out through the hips and the side body and the shoulders. And slowly creep those hands around. Turn that back foot. Remember, try not to pivot on that kneecap. Then take that front leg back. And finding that cat-cow again. Just moving in with your breath here. And when you're ready on this cat-cow, making sure that you've got enough room to lay on your front. Going to walk our hands further forwards, taking our body forwards and rolling yourself down to the mat. Hands by the sides of the ribs, by the sides of the shoulders. Nice and long through the crown of the head, and push those elbows together. It's like you're trying to squeeze them together behind your back. Inhale, come up, little baby cobra. Pulling those shoulders down, long through the back of the neck. And exhale, release down. We go again. Inhale, come up. Exhale, come down. Inhale up. And exhale down. Pushing yourself now all the way up and finding a child's pose. So take your time to get there after that little bit of extension. Move your body slowly and kindly. Finding that child's pose, creeping those fingers away from you. And then begin to find your position for your Shavasana. But before we get there, I want to give you one last stretch with your strap around both feet. Now I've got a big loop in my strap here. Unless you've got a long strap or very flexible hamstrings, this may not work. But just go with me. Taking the legs up to the sky, making sure the buckle of your strap is accessible, bending the knees and putting the strap around the back of the head. And then just drawing those legs in towards you using the strap. Okay, now if it's just too strong or if you can't, too much pressure on your neck, just put both feet in the strap and pull the feet towards you. And slowly take the feet out first, then out from the back of your neck, and find yourself in your Shavasana pose. However that looks for you, make sure it's comfy. You're feeling it in the right place that you can relax. Taking the time in the stillness after the movement. Just these last couple of minutes. Taking time to breathe and be still. Calming your body and mind. And I'm going to leave you here to be still as I wish you a lovely day. Namaste. Thank you for joining. Stay for as long